Hi everyone, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Now we are live. This one.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Where's my screen?
And something. Nifemi, can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, my screen is loading here.
Sorry. Nice one.
Oh, good. Oh, okay. Hi everyone, once more. So
Hi.
the topic for today is Thinkertoys. So I'll be taking us on a book review. The title is already on the first slide. Okay. Without me, you know my name. I know what to do. All right. So introduction. Okay. So I started reading this book. That was about 2 weeks. No, last week. Yeah. After, like, I got to know about the book during a conversation, talks myself and one other product ad when we were trying to develop our PM curriculum, and then she was just talking about how that creativity. She was just talking about the importance of creativity. The importance of including a module for creativity, something to boost creative thinking in the curriculum and all that. And then she was asking questions such as how will you design an ATM machine, an ATM rather, for a blind person. She just gave like very interesting examples. Then she mentioned a book to read, to help improve creative thinking. So that was when I started reading the book. So if you want to work on yourself, you need a book that will help um, boost your creativity, innovation, that will help you, that will give you a technique, on how to see things differently or pass the book to read. All right, so we'll do a quick exercise. So on this slide, there are 3 cards. So I'm just going to ask a question. If you were to choose one that best describes you, which one will you choose? So if you want to answer, you can just go ahead. Okay, let me ask the Lagos folks here firstly.
The first card is Emmanuel. The last one is Pharaoh.
Why
The middle one is me.
is you? Okay. Okay, let me ask.
I look like this.
Okay. Okay, let me ask Ibado. Ibado, does anybody want to answer?
Let us spend us next one.
So, Nifemi, I'll first want to ask what each card means.
Don't worry, I'll tell you the meaning. Just choose one. Like,
It means I'll just choose the one I think is finer.
okay.
The blank one.
I'll choose diamond.
The diamond, right? Okay, interesting. So
Like a lot
again,
of answers.
yeah, there are lots of answers, right? And there is really no. Hello,
Yeah. Hello, Nifemi.
hello. Okay, Wale.
I'll pick the first card.
The first card. Okay.
One.
So it's interesting how people think and all. There's really no right or wrong answer. And from the book, one of the things the writer talked about was that your own answer, the type of card you pick, is going to be a reflection of how you see yourself.
Of how you what?
Of how you see
Why
yourself. So the first one is a squiggle. It's not exactly as organized. So you could. It's not organized. The second one is, it's just blank. It's bare. There's nothing there. The third one is a diamond, and it's more solid. Maybe I should ask the question this way: if you were to give someone one of these cards, maybe someone you love, and I ask you which of these cards will you give the person, you most likely choose the third one because the third one is more solid. It represents something that has more value. Diamond is, is a rare gem. It's something people love to have at all. All right, so let's move on. So one of the things the writer talked about was he talked about positivity. One of the ways to improve, like if you want to be very creative, you need to. It stems out of lots of positivity. So a question to ask is, how do you see yourself? So in the next three slides, I have added like images of some things, some text from the book. So in our free time, you can read so stories of some creative people that we admire. So Albert Einstein, Michalangelo, and different people. And then you just talk about how they out, to be great. So for example, what Disney was, it was about to give up because they fired him for not being creative and for lacking imagination. Can you imagine? And Disney today is, everybody longs to visit and go to Disneyland. So it just tells us that creativity can be latent and it stems out of a positive mindset. So it doesn't matter, where you are or where we are in this moment. These things can all be taught and learned. All right, so I'll just keep this and then move on. So we'll do a little brain exercise. So the first one here, I don't know if you can see the image. So what do you see? You see love. Just love.
I can see books that the brothers.
Okay, so you can see flop, but you can also see flip.
There's flip there.
So there's also flip there. So if you take the black line alone, you see FLOP. If you take the white lines, you see flip. So you see flip flop. And what this exercise, like one of the things we have from this exercise is, you need to do things with different perspective and pay attention to things. Okay, so there's another one here. What can you see here?
The cat.
Is that all?
Or cheat.
Okay, so that's also correct. And so when I first read the book and looked at this, I'm like, it's just the cat now, and my brain just just shut down, just stopped. But again, you can see TAECHT. So again, there's a way the mind works. Like once you get one answer to something, the brain just tries to shut down. Most times when we are trying to brainstorm on maybe ideas or best ways to implement certain features, once somebody comes up with one idea, oh, we can do it this way. There is a tendency, the brain has like a 90% chance of, just stopping to think of possible ideas in that moment. So, it's just good to do exercises to help you churn out more possible solutions and all. All right, so the next one, this one will take some time, but how many herbs can you see here? So I'll give us 2 minutes. Yes. In the paragraph, what is inside the inverted comma?
Okay. I mean, what?
30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Everything is a potential entity.
Yes, now. Yes.
Okay, so Lagos office got 35. Ibadan office, how many did you say?
100.
Ibadan, how many? Ah, they're just clapping. What did you say? How many?
I think I was more than in excess of 50.
Okay, so the Ibadan guys have 1 point. Lagos office have 0 points. So you did count. You have more than 36 So just don't worry. Like you didn't see the complete number. Okay, that's what I'm
Was it,
saying.
is it 50 today?
No, it's not 50.
Yes,
It's
they're wrong.
okay. So this is just an exercise on how to on getting to on that paying attention. So paying attention. Yeah, it's all up to 50. So it's like 37 or 38. Yeah. Yeah. So it's an exercise on how to pay attention. So one of the other exercises there is, there was one of those mornings I'm like, oh, okay, I want to focus on red, color red. And the moment you try to focus on red, you start seeing red things. I can already see red things around you, like things you were not even thinking about, or things you were not paying attention to. Once you streamline, you know, your thinking, you get more answers, and then you begin to see things you typically see in a different light. So it's an exercise on paying attention, being focused, and all. Okay, some other tips to practice self affirmation, TikTok exercise. So this TikTok exercise is, there are times we think we can't do some things, and when you think, oh, I cannot. Like once you already start thinking with that phrase, I cannot, there's a way the brain shuts down. So instead of saying something or saying a challenge as, I can't do this, why not say, oh, if I put a little effort to this, maybe I will get some results. Like even if the result doesn't make sense, it's just a way of flipping a negative thought for a positive one. So creative affirmations, idea quota. So it's an exercise, that we can all practice. Think about 5 ideas every day, and it doesn't have to be something big. And the more ideas. So Talks was telling us about one book. I can't remember the title. If I remember, I'll just put it on the channel. I was telling us about a book in the Lagos office about how that in the world, all these the big companies, Google and the likes and all. We usually think maybe these people woke up one day and then decided to start a company and all. It doesn't work that way. Companies providing solving like world problems today, these people started by thinking about different things, like 100 ideas, like 100 problems to solve, and then they just pick one, and something happens by focusing on that. So how to also boost your creativity by changing your habits. It's good to have a routine, but how about you do something different? For example, if you like to watch football every time, can you watch something else? Maybe basketball or even sumo
And why
wrestling.
you attacking football like this?
No, I'm not attacking football. Can you watch sumo wrestling? Sumo wrestling is actually very interesting. It's my new
I
found.
want Telemundo. See what?
And then another way to boost productivity is by reading more and also reading wide. Okay, so creating ideas. So one of the tips here is to keep a journal of problems. So for example, what are some of the things you see around today? Today, let me just take one of our features, one of our products rather. So I'll take let me take the insurance apps, right? our clients, Wapik and likes, are trying to solve a problem of, they have like this stack of papers in their office, and then they want to reduce that. They want to increase efficiency and then increase sales, etc. So if we get into the habit of keeping a record of problems, you can go back, look at these problems, and then think of ways to solve them instead of just looking at problems and then just discarding them. So the second one is bugs, like what irritates you. So there was a story of a particular guy named Otto Frederick, who created a bread slicer because he didn't want to slice his own bread. So in that time, people had to slice their bread by themselves. So you buy a loaf of bread and everybody would do it. And I was like, why is everybody slicing this by themselves? Like, can't we have something that just does this? It's one of the ways of creating ideas. Number 3 is having a challenge statement. So what do you want to challenge yourself? So number 4 is, flip very, very words. For example, people you don't exactly have to come up with something new. So for example, all these dustbins that you have to press, like we have one in Lagos here, you have to use your leg to open them. So the problem statement there is, how do we, help people maybe discard their trash or use the bin without contaminating the answer? Sorry, I'm just making the assumptions, just flip things around. All right, so so there are 2 pictures here. So the one on the right, the task is for us to remove 3 sticks such that we'll have a 4.
Remove 3 sticks.
Such that
we'll have a 4. The first one.
The one on the
left.
Okay.
Remove 3 sticks. These are matchsticks. So remove 3 sticks so that you have a 4.
3 sticks to have a 4.
And you remove up, right, and bottom.
Okay, up, right, and bottom. Okay, so hello, Ibadan, are you still there?
Yeah, we're here. We will mute.
Yeah.
Before Gero said it.
Yeah, so there is correct. And a way to query the problem. So the question that was asked, it was 6 minus 3. How do you subtract 3 from 6 to get 4? From this picture. So it helps you to think outside of the box. So if you take out the stick at the top, the bottom, the one on the right, you have 1 and 4. That's 4 in Roman numerals. So the one on the right. What we want to do is this is incorrect. How many people know that it's incorrect?
Yeah.
Nice.
So we want to correct it by removing just 1 stick. No, by not remove. Okay, the first one is by removing 1 stick. How do we do that?
By removing 1 stick.
You remove
that vertical one on the plus. The vertical one. Remove it.
Okay.
It becomes 11.
Okay, so now let's solve this problem by not removing anything.
By not removing.
Yes.
You put this floor, that one, you put it on the floor.
No, you're not removing anything.
Remove the I before the X.
Yeah, you're not saying Okay, so we don't take too much time. How about you flip it? If you flip it,
Change 11 to 9.
no, just
IX
flip
instead of
it.
XI.
So if you flip it, it will be IX plus 1. It will be X equals 1 plus IX. So the first approach was, we're trying to, we stuck to the box, right? I didn't give us any rules, right? I didn't say you can't. No, I didn't say you can't flip it. I said don't do anything. So the brain always tries to, work inside of that box, and then we need to practice that technique of, just trying to take ourselves out of the box and all. All right, so So those are just some exercises in the book. Like we have different techniques, different Thinkertoy techniques. I think we have about we have over 20. So I'm just going to talk about one. So that's the reversal technique. So there is a picture. We have 9 dots. I don't know if we can see this. We have 9 dots. And I want us to link all the dots with just 3 lines.
This one is common now.
With nothing more than 3 lines. And each line must pass through, like all the dots must be connected.
What kind of
Straight line, straight line.
All the dots.
With just 3, with nothing more than 3 lines. So the line must be connected. Yeah, the straight line must be connected.
Line does not mean that's
It
straight.
does not have to be straight.
And it
No,
can
it
be
has to be
straight in a way. You just
Nifemi, does it have to be straight?
Yeah, it has to be straight.
you know what I said about the straight line. I thought all the lines.
Okay, so when I saw the challenge as well, I couldn't.
The angle between the
How about
lines
to
just
place all the dots in one line? Nothing like there was no instruction to do it.
She's dropping
within-
some.
Hello.
What do you say?
So if you put everything on a straight line, then you can link all the dots.
Are you inviting?
So this technique is, a technique to just change the rules. So what are some things to do? So what's the problem? Write down the problem, list your assumptions, and then check, like try to challenge your assumptions. Check it with the problem. Oh, okay. Are my assumptions, part of the rules in this challenge? Like no rules were given. So we can think, outside of the book. We can do like as much as we want to do. etc. So I will stop with this Thinkertoy, and then we can get more. Yeah. Thank you. I
think I'm sorry.
any questions?
Any question?
Questions. Charlie, any questions? Questions? No questions.
Any questions? All right.
Yes, I have questions. Different.
Oh,
In the real world, there are rules, right? So how do you
Yeah.
apply it when you have rules in the real world?
I didn't get
In the
no, no.
the
Okay.
question.
Then in the real world, there are rules. How do
Okay.
you apply these when there are rules? Okay. So one, I'm not done reading the book. This is just one technique, and this
Okay,
is.
so you have the answer.
so this
I
is
don't
what
have-
I think.
Is that?
Oh, okay.
This is what I think.
So I think.
Uh,
Oh, you can continue.
so at times there are always ways around the rules. Even if a rule says you must, I'll give you one in finance. They say you must pay your tax. It doesn't mean you should pay the government first. So I can keep my money and reinvest it and pay my tax later. But I'm still paying my tax.
Wait till the FIRS comes after you. No, so I like the game. I like the principles. But what I've also realized, and I was discussing with Futo yesterday, sometimes we read some of these materials, and there are rules that sometimes apply in certain contexts, but they don't always apply. So I don't think any book really or any material can be treated as, and I'm not saying you're treating it as such, as gospel. And I gave Funta an example because we're in this place where we're trying to develop this thing for the software, like product management course. And she's done all these courses and she's literally treats them, some of those principles, like gospel. So I told her, like, when I started doing project management, I read a book by a lady called Rita Mokai. So Rita is like, she was like a world authority on project management at the time. Unfortunately, she's late now. So I still remember, I still saw one of her books in my library yesterday, on my shelf, on risk management. I still remember like the top framework, the principles of that book, and I used to use it a lot when I did interviews a lot. Anyway, so this woman believed that, she said, look, there's something in project management called the project charter. Essentially, it's like the details of your project, what you're doing. But to her, she said you don't always have to write a detailed project charter. That you can write a one-pager that says at a high level the goal of your project and how you're going to achieve it. One-pager. So my first project management job, because of course Rita is well respected, I decided to write a short project charter, and I almost got fired. Because in her own context, she's already an authority, and if someone gives her a job and she writes a one-pager, they know she knows what she's doing. But I tried it as a newbie in project management, and people start shouting on me, this is my project charter, this is my project charter. So I had to learn to write a much more detailed piece of work. So I'm just throwing this out there that when we read books, actually I think one sign of maturity is to try and prove that person wrong, that what they've written doesn't make sense. In the process, you learn from them, but you also develop your own theories out of it. So I just thought to, not that what you have said or written or presented, Nifemi, is not right. I like it. I'm just saying it. Just reminded me of what I was discussing with Funto yesterday.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Thank you to
maybe after reading the book.
You are challenging the statement.
Yes, challenging the statement.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Nifemi said that. Yes.
Okay, well done. And Shade, I listened to your presentation as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't ask any questions on what again? Slide down, slide from. So thank you guys. Thanks for the presentations.
All right, thank you, folks.
Thanks, Nifemi.
All right.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
Emmanuel.
Yes.
Emmanuel. Emmanuel.